The following movie is rated R.
What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to the channel. It's Thursday and I hope everybody is feeling fantastic. So let's go ahead and get down. So I want to talk about the fact that Diddy and Cassie's ex-SEX worker, Clayton Howard, is going off on Cassie, basically saying that she was a willing participant, calling her a CUM dumpster. I mean, he is going all in on her. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know if this is an old video. If you've already been privy to this information, just go ahead and click off and go to someone else's channel and check out their news for today. But this is the first time I've seen it, so damn right I'm gonna post it because I didn't know that this brother went in on Cassie in the fashion that he did. Now, what I'm gonna do right here is shut the hell up and let this brother take over, and I suggest you guys check out this video clip in its entirety, and then I'll be back to close.
Some recent comments that I've made regarding Cassandra Ventura and calling her a dumpster have sparked some controversy amongst people who feel that I am violating her as a victim. Unfortunately, even though you may not like what I said, it's still the truth. Any woman who allows men to orgasm inside them that they don't know on the drop of a dime is technically a dumpster. Cassandra Ventura did not know many of the men that she slept with, but she willingly allowed them to orgasm in her, and it was not because Sean Combs made her. See, ladies and gentlemen, the first time I had unprotected sex, with Cassandra Ventura, she reached down and pulled the off because we were heavily involved in the sexual encounter. Sean Combs wasn't even paying attention and he didn't see it, but when he did notice it, the first thing he did was check me and Cassandra to the fact that we were having unprotected sex. Now, Cassandra could have stopped that action right there, but she didn't. This is what she did. She looked me dead in the eyes, and then she lied to Sean Combs and told him that she saw my paperwork and she knew I was clean. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a lie. And considering I'm a man who values my health and my sexual performance, I knew it was a lie. I had a girlfriend, and I could not run the risk of infecting my girlfriend considering this woman just lied to her boyfriend. So I got up, and I offered Sean Combs my test results to prove that I was STD free, and I insisted that Cassandra do the same thing. At that time, she did provide me test results that showed me she was clean, and eventually the encounter continued. But the unprotected did not start because Diddy made her do it. So again, if a woman meets random men and she allows them to come inside her unprotected, what is she by definition if she's not being forced to do it, which I can visually verify never happened with Cassandra Ventura. The ethic term for that, the street term for that, unfortunately, as mean as it may sound, is a dumpster. And that's exactly what Cassie was. I don't say that to diminish her. People are diminishing me when I am a listed victim of count 3. I'm strategically, and this is important to pay attention to, audience. I have been strategically placed behind Cassandra Ventura in the United States Attorney's sentencing memorandum, to which they recommended that Diddy get 11 months. The U.S. Attorney's Office are the creme de la creme of prosecutors, audience. They don't put words on papers without calculating exactly where they want them to be. So if count 3 was a count to which Sean Combs was convicted, and the first victim is Cassandra Ventura, and the second victim is Clayton Howard, Clayton Howard's role was incredibly important in that case. The fact that my dark skin, my masculine energy, and my alpha personality was too strong to exhibit the victimhood the way they wanted to represent, they withheld my narrative, and that's why Diddy got off. So in essence, because I wrote a book exposing the truth of Cassie, I was denied the right as a victim to confront the two offenders that is now being acknowledged violated my rights. For anyone who doesn't believe I'm a victim, simply look at count 3 to which Sean Combs was convicted. Clayton Howard is the second victim on that count. I can spark outrage for saying the truth that millions of people know. Women out there who want to defend Cassie because she was domestically abused, you're right. Women should stick together with domestic. But you shouldn't stick together to lie on men to accentuate domestic violence to make them guilty for allegations they're not guilty of. Diddy beat Cassie, that's true, but he didn't mastermind a trafficking ring for a decade. He had help, and the help he had was Cassie and Jane Doe. They were his girlfriends. They were the bait that lured men in like me. They were the ones who lied and made us believe that the situation was more monogamous than it actually was. They were the ones who convinced us that this was monogamous activity, again, between a consenting couple. And they were the ones who initiated the sexual energy and the sexual ebb and flow of the encounters. Yes, Diddy did commit acts of domestic violence when he was incredibly intoxicated and under the influence. But he did that in an act of jealousy with his girlfriends who were flirting and having sex with male escorts, sometimes when he wasn't in the room, even though he commanded them not to do so when he wasn't in the room. Now, command might be a strong word, but in the world of swingers, when a woman and a man allow two people into their room, usually the man is the one who has control when another man comes in the room. For those of you lames out there who know nothing about the swinger lifestyle and couples who allow people into their room for the purposes of activity, this is what actually happens when you have swingers. This is what happens. The husband's in control. People, I told the government that Diddy's presence in the room was threatening and imposing. I did. But I also told them why his presence was threatening and imposing. Because he was playing the protector to Cassie. He was incredibly protective of Cassie. He was like a lion in that room for Cassie, constantly asking her if she was okay, offering her wine, offering her grapes, making sure I never made her uncomfortable, making sure, I'm pretty sure that no male made her uncomfortable. Here's the truth, people. You can victim shame me. You can say whatever you want. I am solid, strong, people, and I don't break. I know I'm telling the truth, people. The U.S. Attorney's Office kept me for over 18 months for a reason, because they knew I wasn't a liar. They knew I was telling the truth, and they knew Cassie was a co-conspirator. Diddy could have been convicted on the merits by just telling the truth. They didn't have to falsify information to make people think that Cassie was a victim just because allegations of domestic violence actually occurred. Domestic violence does not give women the right to falsify information to avoid criminal prosecutions. But nowadays, it seems to be that's the criteria. Like the game of Monopoly, a woman can claim domestic violence and get out of any criminality as long as the government or the state or whatever the institution is, the agency, wants the man more than they want to prove the woman's criminality. And this is something I know from personal experience because I've personally been maliciously prosecuted and defamed by ex-girlfriends who have lied through their teeth on me using false allegations of domestic violence, which I was acquitted of. You know what the worst part about being falsely accused of DV, if you're ever accused of DV, is that you're never acquitted. People will constantly accuse you of domestic violence, even when you are acquitted innocently. Now, Diddy was not acquitted because Diddy put hands on Cassie. But because Diddy was exposed, for making that one incident of domestic violence, everything has been attributed to the fact that he was domestically abusive towards her in one situation. Now, I'm going to say something to you guys that people should really think about before you victim shame and hate me. Jules Theodore is also a listed victim in count 3 of the conviction of Sean Combs. Jules Theodore was also the male escort that was in the room while Cassie was escaping from the March 16, 2016 escape in the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles. Now, the government had access to Jules Theodore, but no one's asking themselves a very simple question. Why didn't Jules Theodore testify? Why did Jules Theodore, like Clayton Howard, one of the big 3 who Cassie said was the most, used providers, why did none of the most used providers of Cassie and Diddy testify? Why did Daniel Phillip and the Punisher, 2 of the weakest escorts that they saw, and this is not saying they're weak as men, this is just saying they're weak as regard to their involvement in the case. Why would these 2 men who had never been sex trafficked, who had not been seen by Cassie for more than 2 years, be called in favor of myself and Jules Theodore, who could verify everything, the trafficking, the use, we could verify mostly everything. Why was that? See, instead of being so ignorant, people, that you don't read and use your discernment to understand the truth of what government agencies do to innocent people, instead of victim shaming me, you should really ask yourself a question. Why were none of the big 3 escorts that Cassie named herself during her testimony called to testify in the trial of Sean Combs? Ladies and gentlemen, why is Clayton Howard documented in the government's own sentencing memorandum as a victim of count 3, conveniently and strategically positioned right behind Cassandra Ventura? Come on, people, you haters, but are you really that damn stupid? Maybe you are. That's why the government gets over on so many millions of Americans, because most of you are stupid. You have to look at the juice in the situation and read between the lines, people. I've been saying the same thing for a year. People, nothing has happened to me. I wrote a book about the girl. The book has never been refuted. People, I've just been named as a victim in the government's case under count 3. But everyone still wants to believe I'm a liar and picking on Cassie. Here's the truth, audience. I'm not picking on Cassie. She lied. She's guilty. And just because I can prove it doesn't mean any of you have the right to victim shame me. You keep going right ahead. I'm going to prove that she was involved in this RICO. And it's not for revenge, people. It's because the male victims that were involved in this, like myself, deserve the truth and don't deserve to be disregarded because she lied. I'm going to get this RICO, people. It doesn't matter how much you victim shame me. It's not going to stop. Thanks for watching, and keep watching because it's going to get interesting.
All right, so you guys just heard all of that. Now I want to hear from you all. Feel free to drop down in the comments and let me know what you think, because this brother said an absolute mouthful. I want you guys to not forget to like the video, also share this video, and if you're new here, consider subbing to the channel. I'll check you guys out later. Have a beautiful day.
Thanks for watching.